Swimming World Television, joined by David Marsh here at ASCA 2009. David, I noticed that you take the time to go into a lot of these talks.
Yes, it's been a great clinic, and it's been interesting since going from college back to club, because I'm definitely looking for new ideas, looking for ways not only to have peak performance by a top athlete, but also developmental programming by what makes that 8-year-old more likely turn into that great 11, 12, 13-year-old. So I'm fascinated with that process. At the same time, I've got to spend enough time with the top coaches to learn their tricks and things that they do that I might learn from.
Which one of these developmental coaches, maybe one that not everybody has heard of, is somebody that you like to pick their brain and kind of throw ideas off of?
Well, actually, there's several. Right now, I would say Jason Turcotte at Dynamo seems to be doing a fantastic job with his program, and in the development of a bigger program like we have at Dynamo and at Swim Mac, there's kind of a different system. I think there's a real benefit for some of the smaller clubs. Yesterday I went to the small club panel and listened to Coach Stoddard talk about how she develops programs, and she kept indicating how her job was to pass the swimmers on to Terry, and the things she did there was to set up Terry for success in senior swimming. And then this morning, Charlie Dragon, who's on our staff, talked about some of the different philosophies that go into it, and basically at the end of the day, what are we doing at the younger ages to catapult them to the highest level ultimately in a sport, no matter what age, if it's 16, but in most cases now we're finding out it's probably mid-20s to late 20s.
At Mac, most of your hands-on coaching is taking place with similar age people that you're working with at Auburn, that college level. I know that some of the younger swimmers come up for weekends and things like that. How involved are you with the other coaches when it comes to the development? I mean, are you enjoying kind of stepping out and having a hand in some of that development?
Well, I really feel like it's kind of what I ended up doing at Auburn. I think with a big program like Auburn, you really can't have your hands on everything and be a competitive team at the top NCAA level. So really my job was to hire really good, great assistant coaches like Kim Bracken and Dave Durden and Mike Bottom and people like that over the years, and be able to empower them to take groups and run things. And when there was a hole to fill, I filled the hole. I think in many ways at Swim Mac I kind of do that too. Certainly I do the elite team, but beyond that, my title that I gave myself is director of coaching, and that's kind of to explain to perhaps the parents and to the total organization that I'm really not the head coach in terms of I'm probably not going to coach every 10, 11, and 12-year-old, although I will have an impact on the coaches that are not only hired but as they come in and develop. And Charlie Dragon again is a good example. He came as an intern and now is a full-time coach with us, and we'll have more people like that come in as volunteer coaches or interns and end up developing into some of our top coaches.
Yeah, you develop coaches like that. Charlie's giving speeches this week at ASCA to that point.
Fantastic. So. And just this week we've hired, really empowered, I guess I should say, 2 coaches to be our Marlin Division coaches, which is really our 10 and under program. And they're both parents within our program, but also coaches. And so they have a real good base knowledge of not only how to design a set for a 10-year-old, but the life process of that 10-year-old in the different family structures within Charlotte. And I tell you, for a 10-year-old, that's what's important. How do we set the hook so that the experience is good enough to keep them in our sport? And for me, I keep telling them, hey, find more shortstops. We need more shortstops in swimming. We need more gifted athletes to move and choose to do swimming, perhaps instead of those sports that are on TV more often.
This is your third fall in Charlotte, right?
This is beginning of third fall.
So you were the first of the centers of excellence here in the States, and now since we've seen a couple other pop up here and there, do you? I guess just a general question: how's it going so far from what you thought it would be? How has it developed, and how's it going?
Well, I think for me, more my passion for doing this was to get into the total comprehensive part of the program. I kept seeing these college swimmers, they'd come in, and there's certain things you can do with a college age athlete, and then after college, really they need to go and be working toward their swimming goals if they want to keep swimming, but also they need to be working toward their professional ambitions, because you don't want to be 28, 30 years old and be able to have on your resume, I swim fast. That's just not going to cut it in the real world. And so the whole idea of moving to Charlotte was to move to a bigger city and be able to start something like that. It's been a process. It's been honestly slow to get going, because what I found out real quickly is I don't have football funding. So the free trainer, the free doctor, the free pool time, those things aren't necessarily available. So we have to go out and create those kind of things, because really the only support in terms of finances that ever happened was a little bit of seed money to help the thing happen. And then in concept, the idea would be to really begin to use our creativity, and that's what I'm doing now with Jeff Gackle and Jeff Dugdale. We just hired him as a foundation medalist director, and he's going out looking for ways that we can help to underwrite the support that these postgraduates need.
Ever get the itch to go back to that college level?
I miss it in March when it gets competitive, but boy, I love walking on deck and seeing the 8, 9, 10-year-olds. And I have a daughter 11, a daughter 12, and a son 13, all three of whom are in the program. So I'm able to be in their life a lot more. So it is a better place for me to be right now, to be in club coaching. And Swim Mac is so exciting because I think the board and the total program has really embraced the concept of not only having a big team that has progressive development in it, but also at the end of the day using these elite swimmers as role models and looking up to these kids to help elevate the thinking of not only the kids in the Swim Mac program, but all the kids in North and South Carolina.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been good stuff.
Thanks for the time, David. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Garrett.
David Marsh from 2009 Aspen, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.